Hello guys. Sorry. I am here all by myself. No one really to help me with the videos, so I had to press the record button myself. What was I just gonna say? I'm brain blanking already, and we're only 10 seconds in. What the hell? Anyway, hi. Let's start over. Take 2. It's me again. I wanted to talk today, now, about a crystal in particular that is very special to me. I had mentioned that I was going to make a video for this in the previous video, talking about my crystals that I use for healing and spell work, and things like that. And so we're going to talk about it today, and that crystal is my clear quartz point. I got this crystal years ago. It's got to be maybe 7 or 8 years now that I've had this one. I got it before I even knew what paganism or Wicca or anything like that was. Any metaphysical properties of crystals, had no idea what that was. I got it just because I thought it was pretty and I was maybe 11 or 12. I got it at this place called Howe Caverns. If you're not familiar with New York or upstate New York, Howe Caverns is a cavern, upstate New York. I wish I could remember the name of the town for you. I've only been there twice, and it's kind of a drive away from my house up there. But let's put it into perspective. I have a house in the Catskills, and it's like a half an hour, 45-minute drive from there. So I don't know what's around, but that's where it is. And basically it's this, as you can imagine, it's this huge underground cavern, cave, whatever you want to call it, that was discovered by a name, Mr. Howe. We'll just call him now because I can't think of his first name either. Mr. Howe discovered it in like the late 1800s, early 1900s time, and it was this huge cavern that he discovered underneath a cow farm, and he explored and went digging, and for years and years and years excavated and forged his way through this underground labyrinth of natural rock and stone. And now it's a tourist site. So you go underground through this little elevator, and it takes you on a little guided tour, and it's really cute and fun, and you get to see all the crystals and the stalactites and stalagmites and natural, crystalline forms. There are many, but it's really fun. And then you go up, and then there's a little gift shop and things like that. And the crystals in the gift shop, I have to tell you, it's like Christmas when I go, because, and again, I've only been there twice, but I just went recently, a couple of weeks ago. That's where I got this guy and a few other things, and like, the crystals are so pretty, and there's so many to choose from, and they're so cheap too, if you're thinking about it that way, because I guess there's just such a sheer abundance because the crystals are right underneath them on their property. They don't have to hike up the prices or anything, which is good for me because if you haven't noticed, a lot of my crystals are, tumbled or tiny at least, because I'm sadly on a poor college budget. So occasionally I'll be able to get, a bigger one or something a little fancier, but for the time being, most of the crystals that I purchase or own or use are tumbled or, tiny clusters or points. But I'm okay with that. It's enough, and that's all I need. Anyway, so I got this one there the first time I went, when I was like 11 or 12, and unfortunately now it has scratches on it because I didn't know how to properly treat it when I first got it. They're not too bad, but maybe eventually I would have it repolished just to be a little shinier, but long story short, I keep getting distracted. So I use this crystal a lot, and at school we have a meditation group that meets every Wednesday, and it's run by a faculty member. She works in the health services department, but she's phenomenal. Her name is Nancy, Nancy Rubin, and she's great. She has a master's in medicine and everything like that, but she also has a college master's degree in divination. So I need to ask her where she goes to college, or went to college rather, because maybe I need to transfer. Just kidding, I love my school. But anyway, so she's great. And I mean, she's just so wise. I'm not sure what her religious affiliation is. I think she's Buddhist, but don't take my word for that. But she's so great and wise and smart, and it's almost like every time she opens her mouth to speak, I'm just like ready to take notes in my head. She's great. But so anyway, at the end of the year, she invited us all to a guided meditation that she was going to do herself. And we were going to all get to meet a being of highlight, of high consciousness. Some people call them spirit guides, light beings, light spirits, whatever you want to call them. But basically we had guided meditation it was basically an out-of-body experience, but not one like you would imagine when you astral project or astral travel, when you go to the astral plane and the lower planes. It was high up through, I don't know what dimension, I'm not knowledgeable, but it was amazing. And in the guided meditation, I won't go too much into it, but at the end, when we meet the being of high light, he presented to all of us a gift. And my gift came in a cute little white box, and so I received it from him, or it, rather, and I opened the box. Oh, and I had this crystal with me, by the way. I brought it with me to hold in my hand, because obviously the clear quartz is associated with the crown chakra, which is, awareness, enlightenment, spirituality, etc. and so forth. So I brought it with me for that purpose. And, I had it in my hand the whole time. And so I opened this gift, this box, so to speak, from the light being, guide, whatever you'd like to call it. And it was just a bright, blinding light that came up and out of the box and shone in my face, and that confused me at first, because I was like, okay, so my gift is light? But simultaneously, this crystal started vibrating like crazy. I mean, crazy, crazy vibrations spiking in my hand. And I didn't quite associate the two happenings at that moment, because I was still in the meditation. But in the back of my mind, I was aware, though, that this was vibrating at a much higher rate than it normally does. And so when we come out of the meditation, I'm looking at my crystal, and it looked whiter. It looked shinier and whiter, clearer than it had previously. And so I'm looking at it, and it's still vibrating like crazy. And it hit me. I was like, I think the light in that box was the being of highlight's energy, and I think my gift from it was its energy, or some of its energy rather, going into this crystal. And now I've basically confirmed that in my head that that's what my gift was, because every time I use this crystal now, I mean, it vibrates at it resonates like so much higher than most of the other crystals that I do use. Much quicker too. It's very, very ready all the time to use, and it's become much more potent in the results that I get from it when I use it in spell work and things like that. It's had a stronger effect. And there are many other crystals that I use just as much, if not more than this point. I've used this little amethyst more than I could recall. I used to use this all the time for everything, for divination, for psychism, for intuition, for calmness, for everything you can think of that an amethyst would be used for. I use this one all the time. And this one still vibrates and resonates with me at a quicker rate and at a much higher rate now. So this is a very special stone to me. I always keep it on my altar. I use it whenever I need to associate anything with the crown chakra, or even if I just need clarity or guidance or just relaxation. I use this all the time. It's a very special stone for me. Yeah, so that's that. And I think it's very pretty too, because it does have some impurities in it, little air pockets, but they almost kind of form like a thunderbolt. I can't explain it, but to me it reminds me of like thunder, and I love thunder, so I don't know, I've always liked this crystal point. So that's that. That's why